So, all-out war has broken out, and the Orville is smack in the middle of it with its crew, and this episode made it feel like one of those things where you wanted to go on longer, but sadly it didn't, because it was only a two-parter. It felt like something that you would expect from a season finale or big series ender or a movie scale epic conclusion portions of when the war part and everything, and how the warring factions came together because the enemy of my enemy and that kind of stuff. And it made me think that the Krill are probably supposed to be the Klingons, at least from the original series, where the two factions, the Klingons and the Krill and the Union, are fighting each other. But eventually, one day, there will be peace after seeing this episode. And they did what some people thought would be the impossible, and spoiler, they did redeem Isaac tiny bit, but as the doctor said, it will take a while for him to be forgiven. And I can see a bright future in the Union for Yavit now, for what he was able to do, and a special skill he now has, or Yaphet, sorry. And if they get a season 3, I can see the Krill coming back, not the Krill, the Klons coming back to try again with bigger and better weapons, and they have to figure it out again. Kind of like the Borg kind of come back on Star Trek a lot. Overall, I thought it was a great episode, as always. And the next episode, it looks like they want to try to test the whole Crow relation, because it looks like they're attacking a ship. And funny enough, the trailer that Fox put on for this episode, this current one, some of the scenes were actually used for last week's trailer. But at least you finally get to see them. And hey, time for a review, I guess. They also did a little more world building, or universe building in this case, to expand the universe of the Orville and what it inhabits, with some answers to some questions that were over people's heads about why Isaac is blue instead of red like all the others, what drove the Klon to their mass murder of the people who apparently they actually stole their name too. Apparently the original people who lived on the planet were the Klons, and these people and these robots took the name. And as I said before, they also did the thing about the Krill and how they're willing to work together to accomplish a goal. So so maybe one day, today they had war, but maybe one day there will be peace. Now for the recap. They jumped right into it. No previously on the Orville or anything. No time wasting, just jump right into the episode, where they are continuing to fly towards Earth, and the crew is all sitting in the docking bay. Just sitting around trying to figure out what they are going to do and how they can try to send a signal to the Union. And they've already tried to talk to him about why they're kept them alive, because they're going to kill them all anyways. Why are they still alive? They want to know about it. And Gordon says he's going to try. He walks up and tries, and in the comedic fashion, he fails. The Ty tells his mother that he thinks that Isaac will help them, and she has to remind him that, no, Isaac is working with his people, and you have to realize that there's no help coming. We're going to have to help ourselves. That's not a good enough answer for the little kid, and he goes running in annoying child fashion to the door, complaining about he wants to see Isaac. And he gets Talia shot because she goes to try to save him from being, killed. And the Klons shoot him, the ones who shoot her who are standing guard. They all run over to her. Ty runs back to his mom, and Ed looks at her over Talia and tells the doctor she needs to come over here. They look at her and they scan her, and yeah, she needs to go to sickbay or she will die. They need to get her to medical treatment. Ed throws in some emotion at the Klon and says that she's a part of the bridge crew. You want to keep us alive for a reason. We have to get her medical treatment. The Klon approve, and Ed, Talia, and the doctor are allowed to go there supervised. They heal her, and Talia says that it feels like being hit by a train, the strength of the weapon. And Isaac comes back. He's still calling Ed captain, even though, he's not the captain anymore. And that you need to come to the briefing room where the premier wants to talk to you. The doctor walks up to him about how could you do this? We trusted you. My children still love you. And I'm sorry, I can't go against my people. And he tells them to follow him. They get to the bridge, or the briefing room, and they ask, why are you keeping us alive? What are you doing? They want to use the the bridge crew as puppets so that they can get past the Earth defenses about why you're bringing all these people with us so they can obliterate the Earth. And they go into a little backstory. Isaac was actually made after the death of the original Klons. Yes, the original people of the planet who were killed, whose bones we saw in the last episode, they are the real Klons. These robots were created by them to do, chores and that. Have you ever seen the movie or read the book I, Robot? Kind of like that. But the robots did rebel against their masters because they became sentient. They wanted to have their freedom. The people said, no, we built you to do our task for us. And they decided to try to put a locker on them to try to make them not be able to do things or be able to free themselves. And the robots revolted and killed them all. Probably shouldn't have built guns into their heads, people. And Isaac was built after the fact, so he was not an original Klon, so that's probably why he is blue instead of being red. And another ship is approaching them, and they bring the Orville crew up there. There, Ed and Kelly discuss Unit 98. Apparently that is a kind of like a thing about how they are being how they're being used by a false crew, or they're pirated or something. They don't actually go into 98. It's not mentioned again, but I believe that's how they're acting because, hey, they're going to just kill us all. What are we supposed to do? And the lights turn back on. Apparently the lights have been kept off because it's a waste of power, according to the Klon. They actually asked that at the briefing, and now they turn it back on. This is Ed's former flight teacher back at the academy, who is now a captain on this ship. And they talk about it, and he gives him a 13-button salute, which is a warning signal in the Union about how they have been pirated and are under duress. The Klon know this, and they fire at that ship as it flies away and blow it up. They take all the crew except for Ed back to the bay. And Isaac, Ed, brings Ed to a airlock where they have a red shirt. Poor little red shirt. And he is an engineer on the ship. They say as punishment they're going to throw the engineer out of the airlock. Ed says, no, don't do this. It was my fault. Do it to me. They throw the red shirt into the airlock, and they're about to open it when Isaac actually stops them. Says, no, don't do this. He's a very well-trained engineer, and he could help us with our ship, help us with taking care of the ship. The Premier looks at Isaac, asks him to repeat himself why he thinks they should keep him alive. He says that again, and the Premier says that, hey, we can do, we're better than any human, and you need to leave. So he leaves, and they open the airlock, and poor little Red Shirt is shot out into space. And Ed is taken back to be with the crew. And you get to see Red Shirt floating in space, dead. Poor Red Shirt. In Ed's office, now Premier's office, Isaac is called in. And is asked, and they go into the little history of the Klons that I've already explained in the previous thing. And about how Isaac even chose his name. Isaac chose his name after Isaac Newton, because Isaac Newton is considered to be smarter of other humans, so that's why he picked it. The Premier gives him the book Roots to read. I'm guessing that's probably like based off the show, or the show is based off that. I don't really know anything much about Roots, but it is about slavery in America, about how the Africans sold their people to the Spaniards and then the English people, and then they brought them over here. And then we treated them worse than the Africans treated their slaves. And this was written by a slave, and and they tell Isaac to read it, and how the Klons enslaved us, the humans enslaved each other. There is no empathy don't have empathy for them. They're never gonna change. And Isaac thought that they could change, and he says that I still believe that killing the engineer was wrong, because the humans will revolt against us now for doing that. And the Premier tells Isaac to read the Roots book if he ever feels empathy for humans again. And then he tells Isaac that he needs to choose a new name after Isaac tells him about the name, after giving him the Roots and telling him that he needs to continue to read it. Back on the deck, they discuss possibilities of maybe turning the tables on the Klon people. Sorry, I seem to be dying here from something. I can't breathe properly. Probably has to do with me still being sick. Kelly says that, hey, maybe we could get a shuttle out and contact the Krill, because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Gordon says that's suicide. And Ed says that maybe he should be the one doing it if anybody does get out. And Kelly says, no, you're the captain. You'll be the first person they notice is missing. I could probably get away with it. You've never been on a Krill ship before. Gordon has, so I'll take him with me. And then they get their plan ready. Yaphet is finally seen again, because he wasn't seen in the previous one about when they captured everybody. And he pulls a Bruce Willis and goes to the airlock. They keep guard so that the Klons can't see, and he fits through the airlock like the little gelatin person he is. And he gets a gun. Goes to the armory. He sneaks up behind a Klon, grabs a gun, and blasts them, killing them instantly. So their weapons do work. He brings a gun back with them, and Ed gives Bortus the gun and says, hey, don't miss. Bortus says he won't fail the captain, and shoots them both before they can fire back. John and Talia run over to the sides. John enters the proper things of how to open the door, and Talia enters in her security thing to pop up the things so that everybody's not sucked out the airlock. And Kelly and Gordon run up to the ship to get it ready. They climb in. They set it for Krill space. The Klons on the bridge can see what they're doing, and they say, hey, shut it down and close it. They get out, and they have to, they barely get out because they speed up a little bit, and they leave sparks scratching the ship up, and they get a little topsy-turvy, and they fly off towards the thing. They send Unit 15 after them, or Ship 15, I should say, and it starts following them. They tell Yavit that he needs to now go someplace else and send out a signal so the Union will be able to know what's going to happen. And hey, they'll instantly know what I'm doing. Well, not if we send somebody with you to help to try to scatter the signal. Well, no one's going to fit through that thing. And annoying kid gets to redeem himself a little bit, Ty, because he volunteers to do it. The mother is upset, like, I'm not going to let you do it, and he says, hey, he said they're going to kill us all anyways if we don't try to get out of this, so we might as well try if I'm going to die anyways. Yavit says he's going to take care of the kid. John tells the kid what to do, and Yavit and Ty go through. See, this is where they really should have done the Bruce Willis cameo, because, you know, Bruce Willis and airlocks, ha ha ha. Her older son tells her that, hey, Ty's gonna be fine. And they say, hey, we hope. Bortus still stands watch for the other Klons to come back into the unit area. Yavit and Ty come out. Yavit tells Ty what to do about how he needs to scramble the signal once he starts sending the signal. Go to that panel and do that. And he starts typing, and then the kid starts typing, and only seconds after they start, the Klon come walking in, and Yavit actually goes into attack mode, protecting the child, protecting Ty, and jumping on the Klon and gooing inside of him, causing the one to fall flat on his face, and the other one goes up to Ty and uses his long extendo fingers to grab the boy's leg. The kid yells for Yavit to help him, but Yavit isn't doing anything because he was just as hurt as the Klon. As Ty is taken away, Yavit oozes out of the creature like blood, and his mouth didn't even form for the first couple seconds, and then it formed because he was fried. On the homeworld, a gray shirt tells the Admiral that they got a message from the Orville, and it was about what's happening, and that, yeah, you need to call back the whole fleet, but that will take months. I don't care, call the whole fleet back. Gordon and Kelly are still on their mission to Krill space, but the Klon ship is closing in fast. Gordon says that they could, theoretically, if they put all their power, including life support, into the thing, they can go super warp and get to the place ahead of the Klons. She says go ahead and try it, because they got nothing else to lose, and they do it. And they go something close to ludicrous speed from Spaceballs, and they get there, but the ship is completely dead, just as Gordon said. But the ship didn't crack in half, which is what he was worried about, so that was lucky at least. They said, hey, where are we? Somewhere in Krill space. We don't know where. You can't tell by the stars. Unless the Big Dipper's around, I'm useless. But lucky enough for them, they are instantly grabbed by the green light of the Krill, and they are taken aboard. They say, hey, this is the situation. Why should we believe you? You're lying about only Avis knows the truth. And he says, I told you about Avis. And then the guys show up. That's the people we're talking about. And the Krill go into attack, and the Klons blow up two of them before they can even harm the Klon ship. Now you believe us? And the guy just looks down, the captain of this vessel. Isaac is called into the Premier's office, and he wants him to kill Ty. You need to do this. Don't feel anything for these people. We're going to kill them all anyways, but we don't need to kill them. Do it, Isaac, or I will kill you. Isaac opens his head, and you can finally get to see how his guns look in the blue light. But he closes the guns and rips off the Premier's head, and then turns around and shoots the other Klons who are watching. And he says that he won't let anybody hurt Ty. The Premier, before he dies, tells Isaac that he will be forever alone, and he turns off. Back on the bridge, Isaac busts in and starts putting some caps in some asses and shoots them all dead. And he's going to put a pulse throughout the ship, which will kill all the Klons, including himself. And he tells Ty to tell his mother that he is sorry for what happened. But this is the only way that can do it, and now he's sorry. Tells the kid tells Ty what the password to the airlock is, not the airlock, the door is, so they can let everybody out, and how they can, so that they could save the Earth. Isaac puts in the command, turning them all off, and himself off as well, sacrificing himself to save the crew. All the Klons start turning off, even the ones inside the holding area. And Ty goes running to free the people. You get to see all the Klons are off, opens the door. He says that Isaac saved them, and he's the one that turned them all off. They go reclaim the bridge, and they remove all the Klons, including Isaac, from the bridge. And they get there, and yep, it is all-out war, and it's time for, like, the Klingon, not the Klingon War, yeah, the Klingon War, but the giant wars in Star Trek and the wars on Deep Space Nine. And you get movie-level quality space battle, with ships being blown up, flying around, action, music. Some explosions, some fighting. The Admiral contacts them about how there's too many of them and they're losing, but the Admiral's ship is kaput. It gets hit too badly, and they start to retreat. 3 of the Klons break through the Armada, and they start headed towards Earth. Ed and a couple other ships go after them, and they get into a fight on their own, just those 3. And they start firing, and they can't hit one of them. And Ed is going to fly the ship into it because it is just too much. They can't do anything, and it's the only way to save Earth. He tells all the crew that they need to abandon the ship, get to the escape pods, and he is going to fly the ship into it, sacrificing himself to save to give Earth another fighting chance. Some more explosions, and just before he has to sacrifice himself, the Krill show up. Yay! And they start firing. The Krill hail them and says, "Hey, we got your message. Stay out of our way, and let's kick some ass." And they start fighting, and with the Krill's help, the Klons run away. You get to see how the Krill have their little escape vessels are like little tiny TIE fighters, and they're a lot better than the Union ones, because these ones can actually defend themselves. The Union ones can't do anything except for just fly around, but they're more for peace. You get to see Gordon actually get into action, and he shoots up some of the pods himself. And the Union won the day. Ed says, "Hey, maybe that now we have a common enemy, we can find some peace." And the captain of the Krill ship says that, we're going to return your people to you, and they won't be harmed. You send the vessel over, and if Avis wills it, maybe one day we will have peace. And the Krill leave back to their space, and Earth is safe. Now they have to decide what they're going to do with Isaac. The other Klons who are dead, they're probably going to do some experiments on to figure out how to kill them, so in case they come back. And hey, we shouldn't turn him back on. He's a traitor. It's all his fault. Yeah, but he's the only reason we're alive still. but we wouldn't be in this situation without, except for him. And hey, if they didn't send him, they would have sent another one. And hey, he saved us and he saved Ty. Can you turn it back on? I don't know how we were going to start. And Yavik comes in. Well, while I was inside of one of them, I figured out some things, and this is why I said in my earlier thing that I can see a bright future ahead for Yavik, because now that he knows all about the inner workings of the Klons, he can write papers about it and teach people how to turn them off, turn them on, how to build their own robots. And he crawls in and fixes Isaac, and Isaac comes back on. He's only been off for 0.7 cycles, so if you're a math person, you could probably get a little closer to cycles. About, he was only off for the duration of the time of the battle, probably, and then the down. And you get to see how their ships are being repaired over Earth and their space station, like Deep Space Nine. This is probably like DS1 or something like that. And Kelly and Ed are called down to the Admiral's office, and they discuss Isaac's future. Should he be thrown in prison forever? Should he be tortured so they can figure out how to work Klons into it? And Ed says, no, we need to put him back on our ship so that we can use him for us, because he did save us. Well, okay, fine, we'll put a bolt. We need to put a bolt on him, or a shading bolt, so that we can turn him off and on. No, that's what caused his people to kill the real Klons. I will take full responsibility for Isaac if anything happens. And back on the ship, Isaac is staring off into space. Doctor comes in and asks him what's he doing. He's basically taking a photo of his homeworld because he can never return to it. And he has no home now. And the doctor says, hey, the home is where your heart is. That's a cliche. But hey, cliches have truth to them. And another cliche about how humans forgive each other. Humans forgive one another. But that does take time. And she leaves Isaac alone, where he is alone with his thoughts. I can see slowly over the next couple episodes, if we get a couple more episodes, that Isaac will slowly try to prove himself to the others, try to get back to where he was before this incident, where he could date the doctor, be friends with everybody. And he'll slowly try to take on humans. Like, I can see in the future, maybe, them creating something for him to wear so that he can keep the holodeck version of himself walking around the ship. Kind of like what Voyager did for the Doctor. So he could leave the holodeck or the medical area where the holodeck stuff was, so he could form. I really enjoyed this two-parter, and I can see myself watching it just for kicks in the future. Just those two parts, like a movie. I might even edit the two together as a thing just for me. And what did you think of the episode? And are you looking forward to the next one, where it's a slower scale? It's not all-out war with Earth on the line. It's just the Orville on the line, not the Earth. That's next week's episode, at least from the credits. Or not the credits, the trailer. And hey, have a good one.